Hello, welcome to Mild's Culture Plate, ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages. It's that time once again. It's 6 p.m. Central, right here, Wednesday, October 25th, 2023, and you are locked into Mild's Culture Plate. I have an interesting show for you tonight. Quite a few topics to talk about. But let's I guess I should do the usual still drinking the Redbreast 12 year. If you want a toast or a shout out, feel free to just say hello in the chat. Anyone that talks to me in the chat here, I try to address on stream with a nice little toast of the whiskey. So yeah, I got the Redbreast 12 year single pot Irish whiskey. Good stuff, good stuff. I mean, I don't love it, but it's pretty good. Anyway, so if you can take just a moment, click that thumbs up, click that like button, and we'll get things going on here. This man, Owen Schroyer, let's hear what he has to say. Whoa, wind. Sorry if that's loud for you folks. Let me
start. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are seeing this video, then I am officially incarcerated. I'm actually behind there, right there, in the federal prison.
Wow, sorry about the wind. It's not my video.
I wanted to give one last final message. Now, first of all, I can't express the gratitude and the appreciation and the thanks from my heart for all the support in this really 5 years of political persecution that I've gone through. So from all my heart, thank you for your continued support. And I promise I'm never going to give up telling the truth. I'm never going to give up fighting for you. I want to say this. I'm going to be there for 60 days. And in those 60 days, I'm going to find a way to better myself. I'm going to find a way to come out stronger. I'm going to come out wiser. I'm going to come out bolder. I'm going to come out more focused. So for 60 days while I'm in there, I'm going to try to improve myself and become a better person. And so I offer you this challenge. For the 60 days that I'm away, from the next time that you see my face and hear my voice, I challenge you to become a better person. Use this 60 days while I'm away to improve yourself. If I can improve myself in there, then you can certainly improve yourself out here. My final message to you, my loving audience. God bless. Godspeed.
Okay, that of course is Owen Schroyer from Infowars.com. He has been I guess he pled guilty and got a plea deal for January 6th. He's going to be doing 60 days in prison for essentially chanting 1776 and I guess walking into a restricted area. Anyway, so we have this tweet here from Jack Posobiec. An update on Owen Schroyer and his imprisonment. Breaking, the federal government has ordered Owen Schroyer into solitary confinement immediately upon reporting to prison. So not only is he going to be in prison for 60 days, it's got to be solitary immediately. You know, it just goes to show that the uniparty, the powers that be, if you challenge them at all, if you stand up for yourself at all, they're going to knock you down. They're going to do whatever they can to exert their dominance. This isn't justice. This is not justice. Not justice for January 6th. Not justice for anything that may have went wrong with January 6th. This isn't justice. Speaking of injustice, we have new news. And again, I try hard not to cover the Donald Trump stuff, but here we go. Trump fraud trial, live updates. Ex-president storms out of courtroom after judge calls him to the stand and fines him $10,000 for violating a gag order. Oh, let's watch this video of Michael Cohen. Let's see what this is, because to be honest, I haven't read this yet. Oh, it's muted.
That knows. I saw a defeated man. I saw somebody that knows that it's the end of the Trump organization, already found guilty of fraud. The license will ultimately be taken, and now this entire case is merely about how much. This is merely about how much disgorgement the Attorney General will be seeking.
Mr. Cohen, were you intimidated by Donald Trump? Were you intimidated? Because that's why we believe that he came out to intimidate you. And were you intimidated?
He's got the wrong guy to intimidate. As you've seen, I haven't stopped since I don't know how many years now, and I won't until, as I said, accountability is had. Why?
Tough guy remarks from
And this going on.
Oh, okay. Screw this guy in his face tattoo. Donald Trump and his former fixer Michael Cohen are both back at a Manhattan courthouse Wednesday for the fraud trial against the ex-president. Okay, I'm getting a phone call. Most of the people I would care to answer the phone knows that I'm at a show right now. And they hung up. Okay. I clicked the Google screen call thing and they hung up. Okay, former allies came face-to-face for the first time in 5 years Tuesday as Cohen testified against Trump. Cohen claimed his old boss had him value assets at, quote, whatever Trump wanted, testifying that he would say, I'm not actually worth $4.5 billion. I'm really worth more like $6 billion. New York Attorney General Letitia James alleges Trump and his company fraudulently inflated the value of his assets for years to gain an edge in business to the tune of $250 million. James launched her investigation after Cohen testified about Trump before the Congress's House Oversight Committee in February 2019. Okay. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Here's the part I care about. Trump abruptly leaves the courtroom after a judge denies request to toss the case. Lawyers cited evidence that came up during their cross-examination of Michael Cohen and their request to Justice Arthur Engoron. Denied, Engoron said before Trump got up from the defense table and walked out. Okay, Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Arthur Engoron fined Trump $10,000 over a remark he found violated the gag order he imposed weeks ago, barring the ex-president from commenting on court staff. Engoron called Trump to the stand after the lunch break to ask about the remark he made earlier today, which Trump denied had been about the judge's top law clerk, whom he had maligned back at the start of the trial in a since deleted post on Truth Social. Did you say this judge is a very partisan judge with a person who is very partisan sitting alongside of him? The judge asked Trump. Yes, Trump replied, then claimed he had been referring to witness Michael Cohen and Engoron. You sure didn't mean the person on the other side, my principal law clerk, Engoron probed. Yes, I'm sure, Trump insisted. The judge excused Trump, who said thank you as he walked back to the defense table, slouching with his head tilted down. I find that the witness is not credible, Engoron said before imposing the fine. The judge wrapped up the 18-minute grill session with yet another warning, don't do it again or it will be worse. Earlier today, Trump took shots at the judge and the person sitting beside him as he spoke to reporters in the courthouse hallway. And then, yeah. Okay, well, I mean, again, this judge clearly just, Trump's not allowed to have a First Amendment, not allowed to talk about a government employee. It is what it is. So that was from the New York Post. This is also from the New York Post. This is one of our headlines here. UFC faces boycott calls after announcing a tie-up with Bud Light, reportedly worth $100 million. The UFC is facing calls for a boycott after the Mixed Martial Arts League announced on Tuesday that it inked a major sponsorship deal with Bud Light. The tie-up with Anheuser-Busch's Beleaguered Brew, which has been slammed with sharp sales decline since its fleeting, ill-fated campaign in April with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney, is reportedly worth more than $100 million, according to MMA Fighting. The UFC boycott is on, one user shared to X following the announcement, which will see Bud Light's logo on fighting rinks and in marketing materials as of January. Time to boycott, or time to double down on the hashtag boycott Bud Light and now hashtag boycott UFC, another posted, while yet another chimed in, dumb move. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch are marketing morons to try this, another furious user posted of the 6-year deal. It's like picking at a scab, it's going to leave a scar. Since Mulvaney's fateful posts in April, Bud Light has been dethroned as the #1 beer in the U.S., losing its top spot to Modelo Especial, which experienced double-digit growth thanks to Bud Light's demise. And then here's the Bud Light paying $100 million to be the Robbie Starbuck on X. Bud Light is paying $100 million to be the official beer of the UFC. And you know what? Lighting that money on fire would have been less embarrassing than what's about to happen. Fighters are going to hate this. Fans hate it. Customers aren't coming back at Bud Light, period. You pimp says time to boycott UFC. Oh, no, I did not mean to click that. Go away. Anheuser-Busch has fought back with advertising dollars with campaigns featuring NFL's headline-making tight end Travis Kelce and big-time sponsorships. In response, critics on social media have demanded a boycott of companies Bud Light affiliates itself with. Should the UFC have signed a deal with Bud Light? In my opinion, no, one user shared. Will Bud Light recover? Unlikely. Go woke, go broke, another user wrote, echoing the statement that first circulated social media when Bud Light aligned itself with Mulvaney. Another user on X wondered how popular Spotify podcaster MMA announcer Joe Rogan would respond to news of the partnership, as he's publicly called Mulvaney mentally ill and an attention whore, though he defied the Bud Light boycott on an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience by cracking open a can of the brew amid backlash. I can't wait to hear how Rogan tries to worm his way through this announcement. He supported the BL boycott, but is attached to UFC at the hip, the ex-user shared. Rogan has yet to publicly comment on the partnership, which is a type of reunion for Bud Light and UFC, which were engaged in a sponsorship deal before 2019. Modelo has served as the UFC's primary beer sponsor for the past 4 years. Representatives for Bud Light and UFC did not immediately respond to the New York Post's request for comment. So, folks, let me know down in the comments or in the chat. Do you plan on watching the next UFC fight if it's going to have Bud Light shit plastered all over it? You know, is this a move that would get you to stop watching the UFC fights? Let me know down in the comments. I mean, I personally am not a fan of the UFC. I've never really enjoyed, these sort of physical contact things. I temporarily watched pro wrestling just for the absurdity of pro wrestling, like some of the absurd things they do. I temporarily was a fan of pro wrestling for that, but actual fighting, I've never been a big fan of the fighting sports. Well, that's that news. Folks, we have a new Speaker of the House. We have a new Speaker of the House. Well, no, let's hold off on the Speaker of the House stuff just for a few minutes, because I may wind up making that the main topic of the night. And I don't want to do that just yet. Let me do this. Let's do these backwards here. Okay, so let me do this. So I need y'all's opinion, right? I need some opinions out there in the chat. If there's anyone out there, please talk to me about this topic. I've been talking a lot with coworkers, friends, and family about tipping etiquette, right? There have been memes and jokes online. What is going on? Sorry. There have been memes and jokes online about the tablet, the tip on a tablet, right? So it's like nowadays, it seems like every profession feels like they deserve a tip, or any little $1 charge you make on your debit card, you go to swipe your debit card, and there's always a tablet that asks you to add an extra 20%. And, kind of the jokes are that, well, now police officers are going to pull you over, write you a $40 ticket. And then, after you get done signing it, they're going to swipe it and be like, would you like to tip your officer 15, 20, 35% on top of your $40, running a stop sign or, seatbelt ticket? So everybody wants a tip. And it's gotten a lot of people, at least in my life, talking about, proper tipping etiquette. And there are definitely a lot of websites and a lot of, online etiquette people who have weighed in and have their opinion. But I had an interesting experience myself at dinner last night. Now, dinner, especially at a sit-down restaurant, I'm automatic 20%. I mean, I worked in the food service business myself for well over a decade. I have a lot of empathy and sympathy for people in that profession. And I understand that, their hourly wage is a criminally underpaid situation. I am a person who believes that instead of tipping, we should just, the price of the food should just be insanely more, and the staff should just get paid a living wage. I hate the idea of tipping in most accounts. I really do. I think DoorDash, I think they should just double the delivery fee and give that to the driver. However, I am one who, I want to tip, and I want to tip well. And the reason why I want to tip and I want to tip well is I want you to remember who I am, because next time I come into this establishment and they put my ass in your seat and you come to my table, I expect the best service. Oh, hell shit. DML Minter's in the chat. Welcome. He says Rumble takeover. Bush McFadden, over a decade in the industry, getting paid a living wage, then COVID and Biden. Yeah, cheers. Cheers to both of you. Cheers. But yeah, I want them to remember who I am. And I want them to serve me as good, if not better, next time they see me. And, last night I ran into a kind of an issue. I have a server. Seems like she's been in the business quite a while and was not in a good mood. And I've had this server before because I've been going there every other Tuesday for about the past 4 months for Taco Tuesday. The first time she kind of mocked the way my date that night was ordering her dinner. I kind of overlooked it, gave her a decent tip. Now, Taco Tuesday is usually a discount, right? It's a discount, and I'm on a diet, right? So I can't eat that many tacos, and I'm ordering water because I don't drink soda pop while I'm on this diet. Soda pop's a ton of calories. I'm on this freaking diet. The only thing I drink is water and whiskey. The occasional orange juice to take my pills in the morning. But anyway, so I kind of understand, like, I had just ordered water and 2 tacos. And so what was probably going on in the back of her head was, oh shit, I'm not going to get a very big tip off of these people. These people are going to tip me 20% off of our already discounted tacos and water. And Bush McFadden says, what did the waitress say? Well, here's the thing. I ordered like beef crunchy tacos, and then, but I ordered the special. And then my girlfriend was like, yeah, I want the same thing, but I want chicken soft tacos. And then the waitress goes, well, that's not the same thing at all. She meant I also want the special. And anyway, so, I'm sure that was what was going on in the back of the server's head, and she was probably just in a bad mood. But I kind of did the math in my head of what, like, one of their dinner platters usually are, multiplied that by 2, multiplied the cost of a drink by 2, and left 20% of that amount, right? Like a full 2 dinner meal, I left 20% of that, which was like 40% of the bill I was actually paying. It was like nearly 50. It was like 44%. It was nearly 50% of the actual bill I was paying. I left that tip. That was a month ago. So last night we're back there again, and still had an attitude. Same server. And don't get me wrong, we've been there a few times since then, had another server treated us great. I tipped even better. But I get the bill last night, and I'm staring at it, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I don't want to give this woman 30%. But if I only give her like 18, 20%, like, I'm literally only giving her $5 or less. Like that's how cheap my bill was for, 5 tacos and water and a tea, right? Like, like she still came to the table. She still brought our food. She still refilled our drinks and our salsa, but she just had a shit attitude. And in fact, she brought the wrong tacos to my lady friend. We didn't complain, but it's like, you're the server. You should know what you punched in, and, know the difference between chicken tacos and beef tacos. So yeah, I'm like, I don't feel like giving this person 30%, but again, if I only give her 20%, it's literally $4. Like, so I'm in this conundrum. So if you get shitty service, now don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people on the internet who'd be like, look, if I got service that shitty, there wouldn't be a tip. And I used to kind of consider that, and I used to kind of do this thing where if I had to wait 5 minutes for a refill or 10 minutes for a refill, I would then start a countdown where each additional 5 minutes I'd tick off 50 cents of the tip. But seriously, what do you do? What do you do when you're already getting a discount? You feel like you're getting things for practically, the cheapest you can get them, but the service is so horrible, you don't want to reward this server with extra money. It's a weird trade-off. I mean, just, yeah. I try. I try to be as nice as I can to these people. And again, I have so much empathy that, I feel like leaving less than $5 would be an insult. And granted, after she insulted my girlfriend and brings her the wrong food, I feel like maybe that's deserved, but I still, it's fucking hard to do it. I wound up leaving her like $7.50. But yeah. So yeah. Let me know. Let me know what you would do in that situation. Would you stiff the tip? Would you leave an insulting tip, or would you just suck it up and be like, hey, I learned my lesson. I won't eat here again, or if I do, I'll specifically ask not to have that server. So yeah. Bush McFadden in the chat says, yeah, that's manager time, bro. Insulting in wrong order. Yeah, I kind of, at the time, I'd forgotten about the previous insult. And then, I was reminded of it as I was filling out the bill. And yeah, we probably should have asked for a manager, but knowing my luck, she may have been the manager. I mean, really, that's how sad it was. Anyway, speaking of restaurant etiquette, I have a little video to play. And last time I was on my last live stream here, we did a whole scrolling of the Clown World Twitter account. And I'm trying not to make it a habit to source a lot of my content from Clown World, but I felt this was important to the topic I wanted to discuss here, and we'll see what this young lady thinks about restaurants and restaurant etiquette. Whoa, look at that.
If you've ever been uncomfortable in a restaurant because of your size, I know the struggle, and that's why I'm making today's video. Today's video is all about how restaurants can be more size inclusive and accessible for people of all sizes and abilities.
Okay, so she wants to make restaurants more size inclusive and accessible for people of disabilities. Hey, there we go. Sanglan86. Cheers, brother. Welcome.
This video, I hope to educate some restaurant owners so that they can make their restaurants more size inclusive and accessible. Here are my 10 solutions for how restaurants can create a more inclusive environment.
10 solutions.
Solution number 1, comfortable seating.
Wait a minute. What? Comfortable seating?
Should provide spacious and sturdy chairs without armrests so that people of all sizes can dine comfortably.
Spacious and sturdy chairs without armrests. Wow.
Solution number 2, flexible table arrangements. Offer adjustable table configurations with ample space in between so people in larger bodies can navigate everything comfortably.
Adjustable table configuration. They're not fucking transformers. You can't push a button and the table go cook, 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 and lift up and move, shrink so that you can fit your belly behind. Like, dude.
Solution number 3, accessible restrooms. Ensure restrooms are spacious and can comfortably accommodate plus-size individuals.
What? The toilet? Do you literally have to go to the toilet every time you eat out? Is that what you're insinuating here? Like, if I'm going to a restaurant, I'm going for the restaurant.
And those with disabilities. Solution number 4, reservation flexibility. Allow guests to request seating preferences during the reservation process.
Seating preferences during the reservation process. This is a joke, right? I mean, I'm assuming she means like a high top table versus a booth versus a table. Look, it's a reservation. You're reserving a table. You show up. It's not an automatic guarantee that like, oh, we have set aside this table for you, madam. No. When you show up for your reservation, be like, hey, we would like a table and a table with chairs instead of a booth for me to squeeze my cellulite into.
This will allow people to choose seating that suits their needs. Solution number 5, provide key information on your website. Provide key information like table configurations, seat dimensions, chair weight capacity.
What chair weight capacities on the website? chair weight capacities on the website.
Capacities and more on your website where it's easily accessible.
Lady, we could barely afford to pay somebody to put the fucking menu on the website. Jesus.
Solution number 6, ensure that your
Oh my God. Yeah, DNL Mentor says this is why you tip big. Yes, because for every person that doesn't, for every person that does go to the Mexican restaurant and orders the 2 taco special and a glass of water and tips $1, I want to help sustain this local business that's treating me well, if they treat me well. But yeah, and you know this person isn't going to pay extra for size inclusive tables and information added to the website.
tables are not secured to the ground. Make sure they can be moved to make room for
Secured to
individuals
the
who might need more
ground.
space.
Oh yeah, she's talking
Solution
about
number
not.
7.
She's talking about not securing them to the ground so she can move them away from her. Then they get moved and knocked over and broken. I don't know, man. Maybe.
Offer more room in booth seating. Make sure that there's plenty of space to move around.
Boosh McFadden says, "Stop going to restaurants. Eat salads at home." My man, I have eaten practically nothing but poultry, lettuce, and like chicken wraps, turkey wraps, and salads for every meal for the last week up until last night.
Between the table and booth seat. This will ensure that and booth space.
Let me restart that
Make sure that there's plenty of space to move around between the table and booth seat. This will ensure that people of various body sizes can sit there and
wait. So are you saying that the skinny person? See, now this is your projection, right? You're assuming that if the skinny person can walk between the table and the booth, then I've got enough room to sit there. But here's where, one, you're assuming that the server's going to be skinny, because if that's a fat person, now you've got a table like so far you can't reach it. But even if it's a skinny person and you have the table that far, a skinny person eating there wouldn't be able to reach the table
and be comfortable. Solution number 8, staff training. Train staff on what type of accommodations can help plus size individuals have a better experience. Solution number 9, outdoor dining. If you've got an outdoor dining area, make sure you have some chairs without armrests.
No. If you've got an outdoor dining area, just put a big slab of concrete for me to roll up on and eat.
And opt for chairs that do not have metal grating. This is a small change that can create a more open and inclusive atmosphere.
Oh, okay. So have chairs outside, but make sure they're soft so that when the snow and rain fucking ruins them, you have to replace them frequently. Dude.
And last but not least, solution 10, showcase photos. Consider showcasing photos of your typical seating and table setups on your website. It helps people plan ahead.
Okay. Or you as the large person activist could start a website about, whether you're local. I mean, oh my God, this is fucking genius, man. What we need tech experts on this immediately. We need is this restaurant for fats? I mean, granted, every restaurant's for fats, but I mean, it could be Yelp for fats. Man, I got to think of a good name for that. Anyway, so yeah, so people like this could rate whether or not fat people are comfortable.
And sets the stage for a comfortable and welcoming dining experience. And these are just some of the ways that restaurants can become more size-friendly and inclusive. Check out my blog at the top of my profile.
Okay, yeah, check out my blog. No, thank you. I'm done checking you out whatsoever. Oh, dear Lord. Okay, so there's that, and that's really all I've got to talk about on restaurants. I was going to bring up an article about tipping on a discounted meal. Well, I said I was done with restaurants, but there's actually a viral post going, and pretty much everyone's talking about. I heard about it on the fucking radio today about this shit. So I'm not going to belabor the point because I don't have much to say, but yeah, have you guys seen this list of restaurants women refuse to go to on a first date shit? Here's a list of places that women absolutely hell, man, it was bigger on the preview than on the so yeah, list of places women absolutely refuse to go on a first date, and thank you to the ladies who reached out to me to help me on my list. Okay, we got Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden, the movies, your house, any fast food chain, Buffalo Wild Wings, come on, B-Dubs, Wingstop, Red Lobster, a buffet, IHOP, Denny's, the gym. The gym. The gym's a great place for a first date if you know you're both fitness buffs. Church, Starbucks, coffee dates, ice cream dates, family functions, movie night. So, wait, movie night would be your house, right? If it's Netflix, Hulu, etc., and or the movies, right? So 21 is just repetitive bullshit. 22, somewhere that requires a long drive. Okay. Bowling, nightclubs, hookah bar, a bar just for drinks, Waffle House, and sports events. So, I mean, pretty much, I think the consensus here is nowhere that you could try to fuck me, nowhere that's a chain. Sanglet says, or here, let me start showing these chats when I. There we go. Oh yes, the good old county zoo. And yeah, I guess what do you call it? Amusement parks are all right too, huh? And I don't see like the local park. I don't see the local park on here. Yeah, just take her to the park and feed her a ham sandwich. You know, obviously these are women who just don't want to be cheaped, right? You don't take me to a chain restaurant. Well, I mean, sorry. You have to be worthy of an expensive, they're talking about take us to the like $100 a plate steakhouse, right? That's what this is all about. If it's a first date, don't take us to a chain. Take us to the expensive $100 steakhouse where there's a jazz band or someone playing piano or a violin somewhere in the restaurant. If it's Italian, they better have a whole 4-course and wine and yeah, the whole 9 yards. The bread, the dessert, and yeah, you better spend. Now, my last show, I was talking about the woman who ordered the 4 dozen oysters. This is what these women want. These women want you to just sign up to take them where they could just pig the fuck out and not have to worry about the bill. And yeah, Bush McFadden says Cheesecake Factory isn't cheap. No, I don't think that's the problem. It's not that it's cheap. They view it as if you take me to a chain, all chains are inherently tacky no matter how nice they are, how expensive they are. All chains are tacky, and I'm just not a tacky woman, so you better take me somewhere where they have white tablecloths, right? You got to have that white tablecloths and the server with the bow tie and the bread and the wine. It's ridiculous. It's a first date. If it's a first date, and granted, there are some women who, if I were dating them, I probably would not take them to a chain restaurant on a first date. DNL Mentors. Here. Again, I need to just start showing these up on the screen, and I keep forgetting. Oh. There we go. Black Angus, I would not call that tacky. Exactly. this is ridiculous. And again, the problem with this, let me bring this back up. The problem with this is this right here. Oh, it's not showing my mouse on the screen. Okay. Women, thank you to the ladies who reached out to help me on my list, right? So multiple women. So this is the thing where like you start a thread and then all these other women pile on adding their own. So like one woman, probably the woman who created it might have considered a buffet or Red Lobster or Cheesecake Factory. But because other women, like probably more than one's like, oh yeah, I don't want Cheesecake Factory. And there was a recent viral video too of a woman complaining about being taken to Cheesecake Factory and like her date's like, I wasn't going to take you to Cheesecake Factory, but now that you bitched about it, I'm going to Cheesecake Factory and you can hit the fucking road. That was pretty cool, pretty interesting video. I should have had it ready to bring up, but I didn't even think about it until just now. But yeah, a bar just for drinks. Let me tell you, my current long-term partner who I've been with for 14 years. Yeah, almost 14 years. Our first date was literally a bar just for drinks. Because literally, we didn't want to wolf down a bunch of food in front of each other. We didn't want to have awkward. We don't go to the movies. The movies I kind of agree with, like maybe a movie in your bedroom if you trust that person, but like going to a movie theater, like you can't talk and get to know that person. So I kind of understand that one. But yeah, a bar just for drinks. Yeah, literally, you get yourself a little drink and sit across and chit chat and get to know each other. And then if you need to eat more after you've dropped her off, go eat more. But you can't really talk while you're stuffing your face. You can't really talk while you're in a loud movie. So yeah, I don't agree with most of these. A first date. Now they do have coffee dates on here. I was about to say first date coffee shops are awesome for first dates. If I'm chatting up a chick online, I'll tell her, hey, let's meet at this coffee shop. And it's, I'm not doing Starbucks, right? Here's Starbucks number 17. But I will meet you at, the local roaster coffee spot. Anyway, so let me stop sharing that. And so let's get into the big news of the day. The big news of the day. And we'll let Donald J. Trump announce the headline here.
I just want to congratulate Mike Johnson. He will be a great Speaker of the House, and we were very happy to help. I've known him for a long time. He's a tremendous leader, a tremendous man, comes from a wonderful place, Louisiana. He is going to be, he's going to make us all proud. So at this time yesterday, nobody was thinking of Mike. And then we put out the word, and now he's the Speaker of the House. So I want to just thank all of the supporters that I have, and I want to thank all of the supporters that Mike has. And again, he'll be a great speaker. I think you're going to be very proud of him. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, so that was Donald J. Trump talking about the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. And I was listening in on some, Twitter spaces and some other things yesterday as some of the developments were happening around the speaker search and the Republican Party. And, I was kind of following some of the stuff with, the shenanigans that were being pulled. And yeah, this came out of nowhere to me. I had not heard Mike Johnson bandied about as a potential candidate until literally they announced they were going to vote on him. And to be honest, Mike Johnson out of Louisiana, I haven't really seen a lot of his background or backstory, but yet all of a sudden, literally everyone on my Twitter feed, I mean, from neocon to libertarian, they're like, yeah, this dude might be a pretty good choice. And I can't make that claim, but so far everything I've seen of him today Seems pretty cool. He did give a speech from the House floor. This is 18 minutes. We can watch some of it. I'll skip through some of it. But yeah, let's watch some of his comments on the House floor here.
Jeffries, I do look forward to working with you on behalf of the American people. I know we see things from very different points of view, but I know that in your heart you love and care about this country and you want to do what's right. And so we're going to find common ground there.
Okay,
right?
so he's addressing Hakeem Jeffries, who got 208 votes today on the House floor. So, he
I want to express my great thanks for our Speaker Emeritus, Kevin McCarthy.
See, that's classy. I'm going to be skipping forward here in just a minute.
Kevin has dedicated over two decades.
Yeah, I don't need to hear about McCarthy. Let's see, what's he talking about now? They're applauding someone else.
His impact can never be overstated, and I want to thank him for.
Okay, let's go back. Nope.
Majority today.
Okay, screw that.
Keeping our republic, and we thank them for that service. I know we all do. Listen, all the clerks and all the staff, they're terribly overworked. This has been a grueling process, but they have served an integral role in keeping our republic, and we thank them for that service. I know we all do.
The congressional staff.
I want to thank my dedicated wife of almost 25 years, Kelly. She's not here. We couldn't get a flight in time. This happened sort of suddenly. But we're going to celebrate soon. She spent the last couple of weeks on her knees in prayer to the Lord, and she's a little worn out. We all are. I want to thank our children, Michael and Hannah and Abby and Jack and Will. All of our children sacrifice. All of them do, and we know that.
Okay, children.
I want to thank my faithful mother, Jeannie Johnson.
He's thanking his mother.
Unprecedented moment that we're in. The challenge before us is great, but the time for action is now, and I will not let you down.
Here you go. See, that's what you want to hear. Leadership fucking material.
I want to say to the American people, on behalf of all of us here, we hear you. We know the challenges you're facing. We know that there's a lot going on in our country, domestically and abroad, and we are ready to get to work again to solve those problems, and we will. Our mission here is to serve you well. This is largely politicians. Restore the people's faith in this house, in this great and essential institution. My dad, it was mentioned, my dad was a firefighter. He was an assistant chief in the fire department in my hometown of Shreveport, Louisiana, a little town in northwest Louisiana. On September 17th, 1984, when I was 12 years old, he was critically burned and permanently disabled in the line of duty. All I ever wanted to be when I grew up was the chief of the fire department in Shreveport. But after the explosion on that fateful day, he nearly died, and it was a long road back, and it changed all of our life trajectories. I'm the oldest of 4 kids, and my dad, he lived with pain all the rest of his life for decades more, and I lost my dad to cancer 3 days before I got elected to Congress, 3 days. And he wanted to be there at my election night so badly. I'm the first college graduate in my family. This was a big deal to him. And so several weeks after that, it was early 2017. It was my freshman term, and it fell to me to be in the rostrum one night to serve here as Speaker Pro Tem. I thought that was a big deal until I figured out that's what you do for freshmen late at night. And I think if my memory serves, Miss Jackson Lee was winding down one of her long, eloquent speeches. And not that I was not enraptured by her speech, but I looked up at the top of the chamber there, and I saw the face of Moses staring down. And I just felt in that moment the weight of this place, right? The history that is revered here and the future that we are called to forge. And I really was just kind of almost overwhelmed with emotion. It occurred to me in that moment, it had been several weeks, and I had not had an opportunity yet to grieve my dad's passing. And I just had this sense that somehow he knew. And I had tears come to my eyes, and I was standing here and I'm wiping them away. And then it suddenly occurs to me, the late night C-SPAN viewers are going to think something's very wrong with the new young congressman from Louisiana. It wasn't Sheila's speech. I'm sorry. I just knew in that moment that my dad, my father would be proud of me, and I felt that he was.
Now
And
that's
I
a
think
feel-good story.
all of our parents are proud of what we're called to do here. I think all the American.
You know, look for all the shit I give politicians for doing politician shit, and this is definitely a politician thing to do, is try to relate to people with a story about your own family tragedy and how emotional you were in a moment of pride. You know, I think that's what was needed after this chaos that's been going on in the House of Representatives the last 2 weeks. It almost humanizes the politician, which I fucking hate, but I appreciate.
People at one time had great pride in this institution, but right now that's in jeopardy. And we have a challenge before us right now to rebuild and restore that trust. This is a beautiful country. It's the beauty of America that allows a firefighter's kid like me to come here and serve in this sacred chamber where great men and women have served before all of us.
This guy's going to run for president
build and then preserve what Lincoln did refer to as the last best hope of man on earth. We stand at a very dangerous time.
Okay,
we are the beacon of freedom, and we must preserve this grand experiment in self-governance. It still is. We're only 247 years into this grand experiment. We don't know how long it will last, but we do know that the founders
probably not much longer if we keep racking up the debt.
I want to tell all my colleagues here what I told the Republicans in that room last night. I don't believe there are any coincidences in a matter like this. I believe that Scripture, the Bible, is very clear.
Okay.
That God is the one that raises up those in authority. He raised up each of you, all of us.
Ooh,
and I believe that God has ordained and allowed each one of us to be brought here for this specific moment in this time. This is my belief. I believe that each one of us has a huge responsibility today to use the gifts that God has given us to serve the extraordinary people of this great country, and they deserve it. And to ensure that our republic remains standing as the great beacon of light and hope and freedom in a world that desperately needs it.
The freedom to twerk in front of young children wearing women's clothes, is that part of the...
It was in 1962, that our national motto, "In God We Trust," was adorned above this rostrum. And if you look at the little guide that they give tourists and constituents who come and visit the house, if you turn in there to about page 14 in the middle of that guide, it tells you the history of this. And it says very simply, these words were placed here above us. This motto was placed here as a rebuke of the Cold War era philosophy of the Soviet Union. That philosophy was Marxism and communism, which begins with the premise that there is no God. This is a critical distinction that is also articulated in our nation's birth certificate. We know the language well, the famous second paragraph that we used to have children memorize in school, and they don't do that so often anymore, but they should. G.K. Chesterton was the famous British philosopher and statesman, and he said one time, America is the only nation in the world that is founded upon a creed. And he said it's listed with almost theological lucidity in the Declaration of Independence. What is our creed? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, not born equal, created equal. And they are endowed by the same inalienable rights, with the same inalienable rights: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That is the creed that has animated our nation since its founding, that has made us the great nation that we are. And we're in a time of extraordinary crisis right now.
Many
and the
of
world
your
needs us to be
colleagues
strong. They need us to remember
Hill,
our creed and our admonition. Turmoil and violence have rocked the Middle East and Eastern Europe. We all know it. And tensions continue to build in the Indo-Pacific. The country demands strong leadership of this body, and we must not waver. Our nation's greatest ally in the Middle East is under attack. The first bill that I'm going to bring to this floor in just a little while will be in support of our dear friend Israel, and we're overdue in getting that done.
What is it? Is it funding? Is it weapons? Is it like, if you're just making this?
We're going to show not only Israel, but the entire world.
If it's just a statement
that
that
the
we support our
barbarism
ally,
of Hamas
that's
that
one
we
thing,
have all
but-
seen play out on our television screens is wretched and wrong, and we are going to stand for the good in that conflict. We have a catastrophe at our southern border. The Senate and the White House can no longer ignore the problem.
Now you got me back.
From Texas to New York, wave after wave of illegal migrants are stressing our communities to their breaking points. We know that our streets are being flooded with fentanyl, and all of our communities,
Fentanyl. There's
children,
fentanyl every time.
and even
a
adults are dying
Republican
from it.
talks
The
about
status
the
quo
border,
is
they have to talk about
unacceptable.
fentanyl or
Inaction
they're
is
racist.
unacceptable, and we must come together and address the broken border. We have to do it. The skyrocketing cost of living is unsustainable, and Americans should not have to worry about how they're going to feed their family
I
every
think
week.
we'll go
because
ahead and listen
they
to the
can't
rest of this.
afford
That
their
could
groceries
be-
anymore.
I can go over
Everybody
an hour
in
just
this
a little
room
bit.
should think about this. Here's the stats. Prices have increased over 17% in the last 2 years. Credit card interest rates are at the highest level in nearly 3 decades, and mortgage rates are now at a peak we haven't seen since 2001. We
Audit the
have to
Federal
bring
Reserve.
relief to the American people
Audit the
by
Federal
reining
Reserve.
in federal spending and bringing down inflation.
Audit the Federal Reserve.
The greatest threat to our national security is our nation's debt. And while we've been sitting in this room, that's right, the debt has crossed almost $33.6 trillion. In the time that it's going to take me to deliver this speech, we'll go up another 20 million in debt. It's unsustainable. We have to get the country back on track. Now, we know this is not going to be an easy task.
Audit the
And
Federal
tough decisions
Reserve.
will have to be made. But the consequences, if we don't act now, are unbearable. We have a duty to the American people to explain this to them so they understand it well. And we are going to establish a bipartisan debt commission to begin working on this crisis immediately. Immediately.
Yeah, I agree, DNL Mentors, and
We all know that we also live in a time of bitter partisanship. It was
this
noted.
his first speech.
And
It's
it's been
not
on
like he
display
can
here
go
today.
around being aggressive and making
When our
movies all
people
over the
are losing their faith in government,
powerful halls
when
of
they're losing
Washington,
sight of
D.C.
the principles that
immediately.
made us the greatest nation in the history of the world, I think we got to be mindful of that. We're going to fight. We're going to fight vigorously over our core principles because they're at odds a lot of times now in this modern era. We have to sacrifice sometimes our preferences because that's what's necessary in a legislative body. But we will defend our core principles to the end. In his farewell address, thank you. In his farewell address, President Reagan explained the secret of his rapport with people. And I like to paraphrase his explanation all the time. He said, you know, they call me the great communicator, but I really wasn't
Reagan,
that.
take a
He
shot.
said I was just communicating great things. And they're the
I
same
feel like
great
I'm watching the
things
presidential
that have
debate
guided our
again.
nation since its founding. What are those great things? I call them the 7 core principles of American conservatism, but let me concede to you all, I think it's really quintessentially the core principles of our nation. I boil them down to individual freedom, limited government, the rule of law, peace through strength, fiscal responsibility, free markets, and human dignity. Those are the foundations that made us the extraordinary nation that we are. And you and I today are the stewards of those principles. The things that have made us the freest, most powerful, most successful nation in the history of the world. The things that have made us truly exceptional.
Okay.
In this time of great crisis, it is our duty to work together, as previous generations of great leaders have, to face these great challenges and solve these great problems. I will conclude with this. The job of the Speaker of the House is to serve the whole body, and I will. But I've made a commitment to my colleagues here that this Speaker's office is going to be known for decentralizing the power here.
Okay. I can appreciate that. Oh, look at all the Democrats staying seated.
My office is going to be known for members being more involved and having more influence in our processes and all the major decisions that are made here, for predictable processes and regular order. We owe that to the people. That's right. And I want to make this commitment to you, to my colleagues here and on the other side of the aisle as well. My office is going to be known for trust and transparency and accountability, for good stewardship of the people's treasure, for the honesty and integrity that is incumbent upon us, all of us, here in the people's house. Our system of government is not a perfect system. It's got a lot of challenges, but it is still the best one in the world, and we have an opportunity to preserve it.
You better get to work. Now the Democrats stand.
Last thing I'm going to say is a message to the rest of the world. They have been watching this drama play out for a few weeks. We've learned a lot of lessons, but you know what? Through adversity, it makes you stronger. And we want our allies around the world to know that this body of lawmakers is reporting again to our duty stations. Let the enemies of freedom around the world hear us loud and clear. The People's House is back in business. Thank you. Thank you.
Now they're all just patting themselves on the back, right?
We will do our duty here. We will serve you well. We will govern well, and we'll make you proud in this institution again. We're gonna fight every day to make sure that is true. I look forward to the days ahead. I genuinely believe in my heart that the best days of America are still ahead of us. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Okay, that was it. That was our new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, delivering his inaugural speech, I guess you could call it, as Speaker of the House. So congratulations to Mike Johnson. Congratulations to the House Republicans, and especially the Liberty Caucus and liberty-minded members who all seem to support him, wanted him to win this race. Apparently, they've already removed Nancy Pelosi's sign and installed Speaker of the House Mike Johnson above the Speaker's office. The little sign. So yeah, I mean, good for him. Good for him. Good going. One last tweet I want to bring up. One last tweet I want to bring up before I start wrapping up the show. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. I mean, I appreciate the guy so far from what I'm seeing. I mean, hopefully he doesn't just turn into a swamp creature, but there we go. So, yeah, so we're now past 7 o'clock. It's time for me to finish my whiskey and go have some dinner. Thank you all for showing up. I really appreciate it. If you could do me one last favor, click that like button. And if you haven't yet, click that subscribe or follow button, depending on which platform you are. Share this off platform if you can. Leave a comment. If you're watching this after the live stream is over, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about any of the topics. Restaurant etiquette, women not wanting to go to certain places on a first date, or our new Speaker of the House. Let me know how you feel about these topics, and we'll definitely keep the chat going until my next broadcast, which is probably going to be this Saturday, 6 p.m. Central, right here on www.rumble.com/mild/live, or over on YouTube at The Mild World. You can also find me at The Mild World on X. I'm also broadcasting there right now. You can find almost all of the links to my social media and my streaming channels down in the description of this video, if you don't want to have to remember all the things I just said. But yeah, follow me everywhere, anywhere. Share this, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications if you're over there on YouTube, and it will let you know the next time I'm going live. And yeah, if you follow me on my social media, I usually, as always, try to let people know when I'm going to go live. And if I need to reschedule a broadcast, those will be the first people to know. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of one another, outlast the haters, don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. See you next time on Miles Culture Plate. Take care, everybody. Peace.